It's 10:05. Let's proceed on with our meeting, please. I've been asked by the chairman to chair this meeting this morning. Mr. Nelson is home, has an illness, so let's just keep him in our prayers and pray that he can get over his problems and his illness and get back with us. At this time, I would like for Mr. Tipicani to do roll call.
William Nelson, Sr., absent. Susan Cothran, Vice Chair.
Here.
Robert Tipicani, Secretary Treasurer, here. Jonathan Polway, Committeeman number 1.
Here.
Eddie Odyssey, Committeeman number 2.
Here.
Ronald Redout, Committeeman number 3.
Here.
Clyde Narkamy, Committeeman number 4.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
I would like to ask Mr. Tipicani to open this meeting up with a prayer, please.
We come before you. We thank you, we praise you, we honor you. We ask at this time you fill us with your Holy Spirit and guide us in all that we have to do. Let's do that which is right for our Numina nation. And we thank you, Father, for the gifts you give us, the love you show us, and all those that are having tough times at this time. Father, those in the hurricanes, those pending hurricanes, those in Las Vegas, and our chairman. Be with all of them, Father. Be with family members, too, that have hard times at this moment. Be with us all. Fill us with your Holy Spirit and give us the blessing that only you can give. Guide us now in this business. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Have you had a chance to review the minutes from last month? Take a few minutes and look that over, please. While we're waiting on them to review the minutes, let me see who's present for the executive session. Amber Hedge. Thank you. Cornell Peawardy. Tyler Vaughn. Joe Vickers. Jay Burke. Donnie Jalita Cato.
Make a motion to approve last month's meeting.
We have a motion made by Mr. Narcomi to approve last month's meeting minutes,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Odyssey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And it's passed. Thank you. We'll start with our resolutions. Resolution 102-17. Okay, here. This is Resolution 102-7. Now therefore it be resolved that the Comanche Business Committee accepts the verification of eligibility for the applicants as shown on list number 1070 by the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office. Be it further resolved that the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office notify the eligible applicants by letter of their approved membership, and further that the enrolled members be provided information concerning their enrollment, including name, date, birth, roll number, social security number, and degree of Comanche blood. On list 1070, Clyde, you always count the numbers. Do you know how many's on this list?
28.
How many?
28 total,
Okay, 28,
and 17 are 1/8.
okay. Those names are Vincent Baker.
Wait, we've got to approve it first. We haven't
Oh,
approved it.
you're absolutely
I
right.
make a motion to approve Resolution 102-17.
Motion has been made by Mr. Narcomi to accept Resolution 102-17. Need a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Tippecani. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries to accept Resolution 102-17. Now I can read the names. Vincent Baker, Luna Marie Bowles, Eternity Butler, Dustin Caddo, Becky Chase, Colette Cruz, Riker Davenport, Salem Davis, Scarlett Dryden, Kate Fink, Chloe Fink, Ronald Frazier, Cambry Ann Fryman, Lucas Guess, Adrian Hernandez, Gianna Hernandez, Julian Hernandez, Scarlett Kohler, Kendall Cosachata, Carrie Cosachata, Caden Mycoby, Charlotte Opinaldo, Jalen Pena, Kingston Peawardy, Maverick Samples, Jaden Shrum, Sean Smith, and Kia Whitman. New enrolled Comanche tribal members. Let's give them a hand. Next resolution is 103-17. This also deals with enrollment. The documentary evidence on file with the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office and information furnished by each applicant named on list number 1071 does not possess the required 1/8 degree Comanche blood as provided by Article 3, Section 1 of the Comanche Constitution. Now therefore it be resolved that each applicant named on the attached list now number 1071 is determined to be ineligible for membership with the Comanche Nation of Oklahoma because of he or she does not meet the provision of Article 3, Section 3 of the Comanche Nation Constitution. Be it further resolved that each applicant on list 1071 be officially notified of their rejection for membership, stating the reason for such determination and including the appropriate appeals provision.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 103-17.
Motion has been made by Mr. Narcomi to accept Resolution 103-17. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Tippecani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion Motion carries to accept Resolution 103-17.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to amend the agenda
Okay?
and move Resolution 104-17, which has the enrollment list 1072, to the executive session.
Okay.
I second it.
Motion has been made to move Resolution 104-17 to executive session, seconded by Mr. Narcomi. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries to move Resolution 104-17 to executive session. Okay, moving forward with 105-17. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has been made aware that certain trust property described as follows: all interest in surface and surface only of south, I can't do all those
Half.
descriptions,
South
thank
half,
you.
yes.
South half of Northeast 4, Lot 01, located in the Northeast
Okay.
Northeast 4, and Lot 02, located in the Northwest 4, Northeast 4 of Section 02, Township 04 South, Range 11 West, Indian Meridian, Cotton County, Oklahoma, containing 162.10 acres more or less, is on the advertised land sale list, and if approved, will be removed from trust status. And whereas the Comanche Nation should consider opportunities to acquire land at a fair market value to expand the Comanche Nation land base for further use and to prevent the loss of trust land. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee will consider the terms of the negotiations for the surface and minerals, if available, to determine if the purchase of this tract will be in the best interest of the Comanche Nation. Now therefore it be resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Chairman, William Nelson Sr., to pursue negotiations to acquire the surface and minerals, if available, of the, you're gonna have to help me with that.
Ottawusa Circuit, Rocket. Yeah.
That's a hard name. Can you pronounce it? No. You can't?
Yeah. Ottawusa Rocket.
What is it, Johnny?
I see Atawu Sarake.
Sirake.
Atawu Sarake.
Allotment Comanche Tract 1988 at a fair market price. Can you give us a little history on that?
Madam Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the CBC, we have been given notice by the Bureau of Indian Affairs that this property will be is put on the land sale, the public land sale, and that they're asking us if we're interested in buying it to negotiate with the landowners. And the landowner is Ernestine Titchewai and I think her stepson or her son. There's the only two owners on it, and they have an opportunity to sell this to their leaseman. And she wants to sell just the surface because she called me. And it's just the surface because there's a producing well on there now, so she don't want to sell the minerals. That well's been on there for some time. So the minerals is not available, and I didn't know this at the time the resolution was prepared, so that's why, because we want to consider minerals, that's why I said also minerals if available, but they're not going to be available. And so we talked just a little bit briefly on what she was considering as far as the purchase price. And she said that they had filed for an appraisal, and the Bureau told them that the appraisal will be in this month. So we're not going to be privy to that information. So we have to, if we're interested in purchasing it, we have to come up with a negotiated price. and that price has to be equal to or greater than the appraised price. And so the resolution is authorizing us to pursue negotiations at a fair market price, which means that we come up with a price, that y'all agree to it, and then we offer it to her. And if she accepts it, then we proceed with the acquisition. Now, she will know the appraised price before she accepts this.
Right.
So-
Where is this located?
It's located as you're going south of Walters to that that Temple T, and you can go straight south, as I found out, straight south on a country road, 2 miles. And it's a quarter section just on the right, or just on the right as you're looking south. So, and this has, it has agricultural lease on it, and there's about 3/4 of it is available for agricultural, and she's getting about $4,000 a year on the agricultural lease from her lease man.
Is there water to this property? Is there a
Well,
pond?
there's a
Is
creek
there-
going through it, but according to Mr. Reddock, it's a dry creek for the most part. But is there real water?
I'm familiar with this part of the country because I was raised down here. And this quarter section is approximately 1.5 miles from another quarter that we own in that area. We bought some years ago. So if we're interested in building our land base, I would strongly urge us to negotiate for a sale with this gal. It's good farmland.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 2 owners? Is that what
Yes.
you said?
Yes.
2 owners?
It's not in the flood zone. It's not in the flood zone.
No, it's
Good
on
question.
upland.
Do you know that?
No, I don't.
You need to find out
I will.
if it's in a flood zone.
I will.
Well, I can tell you it's not.
I forgot, you're raised over there. Okay. All right, do we have any discussion on this, or anybody? Come on. Want to table it, or what do you want to do?
I make a motion to table this resolution 105-17.
Motion,
May I ask a question of
Sure.
Mr. Wimble?
sure.
When is this pending land sale?
Well, actually, it's going on a public auction for the land sale.
I mean, when is that?
Oh,
date?
I don't know that. I think maybe in November. I know that they're having some open up in November, but whether this one's on it or not, I don't know.
Okay. The reason I raise that is because if we table it, we can't bring it forward until November, and that may be too late if we really are interested.
Well, we're not going to be able to get the mineral rights, though.
No, we
She
won't.
doesn't want to sell the mineral rights, so you can.
I wouldn't either.
If we
Yeah,
table
I
it,
know, she's got an
then
existing well.
if we table it, then no offense, but it will hold us back from even negotiating. What I was hoping to do was to pass a resolution and allow us to just negotiate. But before we actually make a transaction, then y'all have to approve that, so that we'll know if it's even feasible or within the fair market value. Because if she wants more than that, or if the appraisal comes back more than we're willing to pay, then we don't have to
Well, we wouldn't be
pursue
able to
it.
approve that anyway until November, even
Yes.
as we agreed on it, so.
I like, and that's what it says now, out there, will be resolved, it's a matter of just pursuing negotiations. That's what you have written
Right,
here.
right.
So it doesn't mean that it's approved to purchase yet.
No.
We'll have to come.
Y'all have to approve that price. I
Yeah.
mean, we just want to be able to negotiate to get there.
Well, we have a motion, so I don't know if you got a second, but
Mr. Narcomi, do you want to continue with your motion?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Motion has been made by Mr. Narcomi to table Resolution 105-17. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Eddie Odyssey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
So we've got a 3-2.
So the motion fails?
Yes, for a
I'll
lack
make a
of,
motion that we give the chairman authority to pursue this negotiated sale.
Well, it's to gather information to be able to have, to know if we're gonna be interested in
We went
purchasing.
into negotiations and
Right.
came up with a price that we deem fair. And-
Right.
And it's not what I think, it's what the numbers think, so.
Okay. Motion has been made by Mr. Red Elk to go ahead and accept Resolution 105-17. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Tippecani. All those in favor of Resolution 105-17, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
No.
Mr. Odyssey, are you abstaining or are you voting?
I vote yes.
Okay, motion carries.
But it's negotiated, right?
Right. Okay, motion carries to accept Resolution 105-17. Now we're moving on to Resolution 106-17. Oh boy, another land description. A lengthy one. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has been made aware that two certain trust properties described as follows. Well, boy, all interest in surface and surface rights only in and to E2 West, how do you,
Yeah,
you read it, Bob, maybe you could do better.
Okay, this is
That's a-
106-17?
Yes,
You want me to read?
yes, sir, go for it.
Whereas, is that where you're reading or in the beginning?
I got into the land description.
Okay. All, 1-1, which is the total interest in surface and surface rights only in and to the east half of the west half of the east half of the west half of the west half of the west half of the east half of the southwest 1/4, east half of the west 1/2, the northwest quarter, southeast quarter, southwest quarter, west half of the east half, northwest quarter, southeast quarter, southwest quarter, and the east half of the west half, northeast quarter, southwest quarter, west half of the east half, west half, northeast quarter, southwest quarter, and east half of the east half, west half, west half, east half of the southwest quarter of Section 12, Township 4 North, Range 9 West, Indian Meridian, Comanche County, Oklahoma, containing 18.75 acres, more or less, part of the original allotment of Hiwini, Comanche 2456-A, and all interest 100% in surface and surface rights only in and to the east half of the northwest quarter, southeast quarter, southwest quarter, and the east half of the west half of the southeast quarter, southwest quarter, the east half of the southeast quarter, southeast quarter, southwest quarter, northeast quarter, southeast quarter, southwest quarter, east half of the northeast quarter, southwest quarter, and the east half of the west half of the northeast quarter, southwest quarter of Section 12, Township 4 North, Range 9 West, Indian Meridian, Comanche County, Oklahoma, containing 45 acres, more or less, part of the original allotment of Hiwini, Comanche 2456D, are all on the allotted or advertised land sale list, and if approved, the ownership will be transferred to an enrolled member of another Indian tribe.
Okay.
And the reason it has such a long description, you can see the first 100% interest is, it's a small acreage, 18.75 acres, and the subsequent, or the last one here, is 45 acres.
Right.
So they describe that within that original 160 allotment. It's a lot of description.
It sure is. Next time you have to read that, Mr. Wumaloy. Okay, whereas the Comanche Nation should consider opportunities to acquire land at a fair market value to expand the Comanche Nation land base for further use and to preserve Comanche allotments. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee will consider the terms of the negotiations for surface and minerals, if available, to determine if the purchase of this tract would be in the best interest of the Comanche Nation. Now therefore it be resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Chairman, William Nelson Sr., to pursue negotiations to acquire the surface and minerals, if available, for both tracts, Comanche 2456-A and Comanche 2456-D, in the Hawena allotment at a fair market price. So basically, this is the same as.
Yes, the difference is that she has a buyer, and this buyer is a member of the, I believe it's the Choctaw tribe. And before a Comanche allotment can be sold to another tribal member, whether it's Kiowa or Apache or the eastern tribes, we have to give the authority to allow that to happen. And so we had to write a letter saying that we're not granting that authority to for this transaction to take place, and we'll pursue negotiations. Now, that doesn't mean, again, that we have to buy it, we just have to consider buying it. So, and if it gets to a point where maybe she was offered an absorbent amount, I don't know that. I haven't had a chance to visit with her. They have sent her a letter saying that she needs to talk to the Comanche tribe. And so, and I don't know if minerals are available on this one or not either, but we want to pursue that if possible.
Where's this land at?
This land is about 5 miles east of Fletcher.
5 miles east of Fletcher?
That's 7 miles.
Okay. How many heirs on that one?
One. Mrs. Valdez, Andrea Valdez.
Okay.
Is there oil and gas production in that area?
I wasn't aware of any, and we have a map that shows little circles in those sections, and I didn't see anything in the vicinity, but usually in Costa Surreal, there's production there, so I have to double check another map on that. But we will pursue that too in our negotiations.
Okay.
Adjacent, I noticed these are tracks within that quarter there.
Yes,
The adjacents, those are all in trust?
yes.
Who puts it in the
That whole
vicinity?
southwest quarters of trust has just been divided up. And
How far away is that from 98 Parallel, you know?
Probably, I'm a guess,
5 miles.
maybe 10 at the most, yeah.
It's on Grady and Comanche boundary,
Right,
just right off the boundary.
right.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion has been made to approve Resolution 106-17,
Second that.
seconded by Mr. Red Elk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
No.
One against. Motion carries to pass Resolution 106-17. Mr. Narcome.
That land, there's a creek running by it. And it's, you probably use it for irrigation. I don't know if it runs all the time or a spring goes into it, but
Is it the Little Washita? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It's the Little Washita, isn't it?
that's what it says on the.
yeah, let me see. Well, from that drive in from Fletcher, it's about 7 miles that way. That's, I don't know why they walk that, straight on that road.
Okay.
And it's,
Oh, yeah.
Runs right through it.
Oh, there's a good map
Washita Cemetery.
after that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, another thing, I was wondering about this coal bell. It's been a while since I've read about it, but it seemed like it was for fractional interest, or was it for land purchases like this? And when are we gonna get it implemented, or what's the status of it, or? And then another thing is that the tribe can contract the leasing authority from the BIA, and, we need to set some kind of a plan before we can start doing that, because we have to have several you know, a certain level of competence or, you know, to do the regs or implement the regs.
The tribal administrator and secretary treasurer just sat in on a meeting, I
Yeah.
believe, on that.
So we need some kind of a schedule to plan on, you know, taking over the leasing authority. And we need competent people in there to be able to do that.
Well, the COBAL, you know, the Secretary's office reviewed the balance of the COBAL monies for land acquisition, and they decided to go to certain tribes. The only tribe that they agreed to go with the standing balance in Oklahoma is the Cheyenne Arapaho. So the Comanches at this time are not going to be considered in this fractionation purchases. And who knows, you know, it may not come about, the balance can all be expended where they're listed the nations. They're mainly up in the north. And Oklahoma, again, only has the one tribe, or the Cheyenne Arapahoes. But if they can't spend it all, maybe it will open, I don't know. But right now, the Secretary's listed those tribes, and we're not included. And one other thing I might mention, maybe, and Mr. Arterberry and I sat in, and the chair was asking about this, but there are individuals yet who are entitled to some COBAL payments. You know, if you had an IMM, or if you had trust ownership and you were in that trust status with an account in the office of the special trustee, then you got payments. And I think a number of people may have gotten payments already. Well, now we're looking at a number of individuals that are due payments, and they have not been acknowledged, and we don't know their addresses, and they haven't come forward, as we understand. And some of those have gone into estates. But the heirs, if it can be provided, the affidavits or the heirship given by the court order, those heirs can be entitled to some of these COBAL payments. So these payments are being guided by the Oklahoma Indian law, you know, oils. They're contracted again from the original persons who are to do this. So they're contracted to look at these people that are yet due individual payments. And so we're working, Mr. Arterberry has our enrollment department working on that, and we're working with oils, or this Oklahoma Indian Legal Services, to see if we can identify these people, because there's $600 and some thousand yet available for these persons. And the average, do you remember, Jimmy, what they said the average might be in a payment?
Yeah, 878, something like that.
Yeah.
Was there a cutoff time frame? Are they gonna?
Yes,
at some
November.
point- November?
Yeah, so they're rushing and with great pace, and I think Mr. Arterberry is going to put it in the paper, so we have the names listed, as well as we're trying to locate them ourselves through enrollment.
Good.
A lot of those individuals are on the list that we have given to Amber for enrollment. So she's providing access to the Oklahoma Indian Legal Service and that Garden City group, so they can contact these individuals, but we'll also put the entire list in the newsletter, so that if people's names, because there's living and then there's the estate, the deceased. So the estate, which is the next of kin, which the families will have a chance to reach out as well. But the cutoff is, I believe they said November 27th, is that what they said? So they just came and saw us, was it yesterday?
Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Just recently, they reached out to us. So we're doing what we can to reach all the tribal members who are on that list, or the relatives of those that are deceased. But it'll be in our tribal newsletter. So when it comes out the first of the month, you know, that entire list will be there with information to contact. And Amber, speak to the.
Well, that's good then. So we're doing all we can to notify these people, our tribal members. Thank you. All right, let's move on with Resolution 107-17. That is, whereas the Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, established the Comanche Business Committee as the duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation in legal quorum, and now therefore it be resolved that the Comanche Business Committee approves the fiscal year 2017 financial balance of land acquisitions to be carried over to fiscal year 2018 land acquisitions.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask the TA a question on this. Do you feel we should add the rainy day fund and the cell tower revenue
Well,
to carry over, or shall we just,
well, the rainy day fund is set aside already. It cannot be,
Okay.
used unless it's taken to the general council for
we'll have to
approval.
list that.
So that doesn't really need to be listed because it's reserved and set aside. The cell tower review isn't gaming funds, it's revenue that's brought in, so it's in the restricted account as well. So it's not really a carryover, it's just an account that has that for the committee at some point to actually create a budget and figure out how it will be expensed.
Thank you.
So neither of those really should be carried over.
I make a recommendation to pass this.
Motion has been made by Mr. Tippecani to accept Resolution 107-17. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Chairman.
Seconded by Mr. Red Elk. All those in favor say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries to accept Resolution 107-17. (108-17), approval of the Gaming Commission budget. Whereas the Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, establishes the Comanche Business Committee as the duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation in legal quorum. And now therefore it be resolved that the Comanche Business Committee approves the Gaming Commission budget for fiscal year 2018 in the amount of $5,112,287,000. Subject to the National Indian Gaming Commission's approval of a revised Comanche Nation gaming ordinance, which will require a budget modification at that time. Subsequent budget will need further approval. Fiscal year revenue will be forwarded to the Comanche Nation Tax Commission.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion has been made by Mr. Tippecani to accept the budget resolution 108-17. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Poway. All those in favor to accept resolution 108-17 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries to accept resolution 108-17. Resolution 109-17, approval for payback debts. Let me get to the right one. Whereas any defendant, past, present, or future, that didn't utilize the Comanche Nation procurement policy or procedures adopted by any and all Comanche Nation entities that did make purchases on behalf of self or any tribal activities while in position has to be accountable. And whereas the question of unauthorized purchases is a question to the lawfulness of any and all procurement policies. And these established policies are independent of any position, and no one, absolutely no one, is entitled to sovereign immunity. The procurement policies adopted strictly disallows unauthorized purchases. There can never be any set precedent where anyone can or will be entitled to sovereign immunity or cloaked with official immunity by definition. Official immunity is to allow a government official some latitude in exercising his or her discretion in decision-making, not direct purchases. Individual liability is not allowed within the scope of any and all procurement policies. May this resolution serve as the template to seek declaratory relief of those that left positions while still owing the Comanche Nation a debt incurred while they were in office. The procurement policies of the Comanche Nation and its numerous entities is a tantamount that no one is entitled to sovereign or official immunity, and that whereas the Business Committee in legal quorum assembled finds any excuse, past or present, to allow any and all elected officials, business committee, or hired employees to not pay back debts owed to the Comanche Nation is out of order to good governance. And therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee does not recognize and will never accept official immunity or sovereign immunity to any past or present elected official, business committee, or hired employee to be free of not paying documented debt owed to the Comanche Nation and all entities under the guise of the Comanche Nation. And therefore be it further resolved, the Comanche Nation, by all means possible, will seek out relief and pay back to any and all documented debt owed to the Comanche Nation and all entities under the guise of the Comanche Nation today and for time immemorial. Ooh, lengthy one.
I got a question for Mr. Grellner. Yes. Does that include seeking charges that we can?
I see it's civil here. This is the declaration you gave me, that's a separate matter for charges, criminal matter. This is a civil matter. We probably ought to discuss this. Because different categories of immunity, you all need to understand what they all mean before make a decision.
Okay, thank you. I think possibly we need to table this resolution for further discussion based upon potential issues with legalities. Do I have a motion to table
Who
this?
submitted this resolution?
I believe Chairman Nelson.
Yes, I believe so.
I make a motion, we table.
Thank you. Motion has been made by Mr. Red Elk to table Resolution 109-17. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Seconded by Mr. Poway. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstained?
No.
Motion carries to table 109-17 resolution. Resolution 110-17, approval of elder payment payback. Whereas the fiscal year 2016, let me go back up here to whereas the revenue allocation plan of 2005 states, Article 2, Section B, elders per capita payment means those payments made or distributed from a specified portion of the nation's net gaming revenue for the gaming enterprise or any gaming activity to all eligible tribal members of the age of 62 years or older. And whereas the fiscal year 2016, which ended on September 30th, 2016, there were 49 enrolled members certified by enrollment of the Comanche Nation attached, who turned 62 years old during October 1, 2016 through December 31, 2016. These enrolled members were not paid last year. Past directives of past business committees made elder payments to members born during these 3 months from various revenue-making entities, which is out of order to Revenue Allocation Plan 2005. And whereas the business committee today rescinds any and all past memorandums of past chairmen that made this special procedure and practice ambiguous and confusing to any professional standard. And whereas a standing resolution voted on September 8, 2012, that is numbered 71-12, will be the standard for each and every fiscal year from this date till the immemorial, unless the revenue allocation plan of 2005 is revised or dissolved to state otherwise. Now therefore it be resolved, the business committee today in legal quorum assembly does back the pay all eligible tribal members of the Comanche Nation that turn age 62 years of age during October 1, 2016 through December 31, 2016, as dictated by Resolution 71-12. and it is attached to the back of the resolution. Yes.
I just want to make sure you guys have the right list, because you said 49. The number for 2016 was 25. The number for this year is 49.
I'm reading what the resolution says, so there's a discrepancy. What's the total then?
The total for 2016 from October to December was 25 people.
25 people.
And the number for this year for 2017 is 49. But 2016 is 25.
So there's a total of 76 individuals, if you're adding 49 and 25, correct?
Did you remove that one? There should have been one.
Yeah, that one I
This isn't right.
think we were 74.
Relative to the 25 to 2016. It doesn't talk to the others.
What is it, Julia?
74
We
total.
might do that. Okay. Make a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
He's adding on. Okay, we're gonna table this or put it in executive session. Go ahead, make that motion. Okay, motion has been made to take Resolution 110-17 into executive session and have more discussion on this matter, seconded by Mr. Narcomi. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, same sign. So we will move Resolution 110-17 to executive session. Okay, Resolution 11-17, approval of KCA budgets. Let me find it. Now therefore it be resolved, the Kiowa, Comanche, and Apache Intertribal Land Use Committee, KCA, was approved an operating budget for fiscal year 2018.
Was provided.
Was provided an operating budget, yes, I'm sorry, for fiscal year 2018. The operating budget was voted upon and approved by the Comanche Nation voters. Now therefore, the Comanche Nation requests that the Office of the Special Trustee, OST, Anadarko, Oklahoma, provide the operating budget for the tribal trust account in the amount of $270,000 to the Kiowa, Comanche, and Apache Intertribal Land Use Committee, KCA.
I make the motion to approve.
Motion has been made by Mr. Tippecani to accept Resolution 111-17. A second?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Mr. Red Elk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Resolution 111-17, the KCA Land Use Committee budget has passed. Now we will go into, I believe that's all the resolutions. I think we got that covered. Some old business, new old business.
Yeah.
Mr. Narcomi.
I had requested to be put on the agenda for a hospital or clinic project. Let me see, I got a handout on it. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I guess the first step in this would do a planning grant, IHS planning grant.
You already gave that.
Just, well, the main thing is to see if it's feasible. Yeah, we don't know whether we can feasible or not, but that's how we can determine by doing this plan. So that's the first question. And then we determine the funding, and then we try to get copies of or information on other tribes that have contracted or compacted with IHS on hospitals or clinics, and look at the ones that successful, and then if there's any that's not successful, then we determine what went wrong. And then somebody who works in the IHS told me that he said that compacting was better than contracting, so I'm not familiar with all that. But Travis Scott, he told me that he had worked with the Pawnees and they had a joint venture project, you know, that number 2. So that's, and I was trying to get the regs or cite the regs where the IHS will provide, or the federal government will provide, will match the share, whatever the tribe puts in on a facility. And then 3 is whether it's feasible to do a hospital plus clinics or just the clinics, or however it's best to, whatever is feasible. In the location, well, we got one good information, it's a Carnegie Clinic. So we just look at the information on the Carnegie Clinic from IHS. And I think there's a pretty large population density in Cache, so Cache might be a good place for a clinic. Because we have some POCO land near Cache, I believe, maybe other property, but it's so it's feasible. We might have been able to do this 20, 30 years ago. See? So the service population, there's a study. Oh, there's a, yeah, we need to do a population study on the density. And then, you know, all these other items, third-party building, contract health departments, equipment costs, building, operations costs, additional services like that, be like MRI, dialysis. Now, the hospital, one time, the Keshner, the previous CEO, told me that the Lawton Indian Hospital couldn't do a dialysis because they don't get third-party billing, but the tribes can. And then I heard mention that that we needed an ambulance or transport service. In this last board meeting, the Kiowa representative mentioned a chiropractor. IHS don't have any, or they don't have an ICU unit. But I think this may be feasible, this home health care, because there's probably some tribes that already have tribal laws enacted and implemented. And then personnel, well, this is real important, number 14. The increase in population with 5 civilized tribes, that Cherokee case requires a freedman to be added. And I think it's about 35,000, something like that. And that's twice our enrollment. And then the other 4 civilized tribes, they have freedmen, they probably have to be on their roll. And then their descendancy roll, they have no minimum blood requirement, so their rolls just increase exponentially. It doubles every so often. So they're taking over half of our services, and and I'm not sure about this funding, but I guess it's allocated on the tribe's enrollments. I mean, I don't know what their formula is, and so they, because we have more and more people, that all the third-party billing gets used up by these increased population. But if we had a Comanche, say, contracted clinic, well, that wouldn't be the case. So even though if there's no freedmen using the hospital now, well, they're still taking revenue through that number of enrollment. So this situation is not going to get better. It just continually will get worse, from bad to worse. So we just have to face it. You know, that's a situation. So I think we're below the veterans' cost per person, so we'll just get it even lower. And I put this in there before I read the newspaper, that we need an accounting system, you know, with a CPA. And we've contracted with Finley and Cook since April '07, and we sole sourced the accounting contract to them. We never did have bids on it. So about 10 years now. So we need our own computer system and hire Comanche to run it. And, well, there's some other items in here. But anyway, the newspaper, page 3, Chairman Nelson said the tribe will outsource our accounting, our outsource of accounting to come in-house, and major savings to the tribe. I'm just guessing, we'll save about 1/3 of it, and I'm guessing, I think it's about $1 million, just rough guesses. So our government continues to make successful, positive changes, so I'm sure this will be implemented, and that we'll be able to account for these contracting with IHS. And then there's other alternative financing, like that exempt bonding, that Tribal Government Status Act of '82, and it can be used for other projects. And I don't know if the hospital will be essential government service. Then and we could have done this years ago. HUD, CDBG grant. I'm almost sure it would be eligible, but I don't think there's any more funding right now with Trump. And I don't know in the future whether there will be. There may be, we don't know. But, so we missed out on, I don't know how many million there. And then the last item on here is 18. We need to add a grants department budget item to the annual budget. In other words, we need our research and development staff. We need more than one proposal writer and an assistant for certain. Just this past week, they had 2 successful projects at 1.2 million. And last month, they had $469,000 for grants, for 2 other grants. So that's about 1.7 million. So that's real important in providing service to our people. And just think about it. How long would it take, let's see, it's 1.7 million? How long would it take the water park to make contribute 1.7 million? Or how long will it take CONI, or CNC to contribute the 8 million plus we invested? But this goes to show you that we will use that money for services, and here we can get grants that's available. And no telling what amount of grants that we don't have enough people to apply for. So we really do need a staff of 3 or 4 people, proposal writers, because we're probably losing, no telling how many millions of dollars we're losing.
All right.
And then, let's see, another thing. If you remember, where is this? Oh, if you remember, I don't know what year it was. I'm just guessing, 205,
I got a question.
204. We had
Gabby, I got a question on this, on the clinic. Who does the feasibility study? Who does the feasibility study? Does the tribe get it done, or?
Oh,
He's just
well,
asking,
it's a
he's just
plan.
asking for it to be done.
Yeah, who's ever qualified to do it, see, we put in a proposal to do the feasibility, and then whoever is qualified to do it. Yeah, we are. And
Okay.
either our present, grant department can do it, or if, if they keep, if they're busy all the time, well then, we'll have to put in the budget, and it's next year. So that's we have to wait till next October the 1st. Or else do a contract with somebody to do it. But I'm pretty sure there's free available money. I would say, it would be worth it even the contract, if you do that proposal. Now, remember, I don't know when it was, say 204, Coffee had Galen Franklin to do a proposal to contract the IHS convention portion of the services. And he never did tell the people, he never did go out in meetings. And he brought it up at one council meeting, and the council banned Galen Franklin. And what it was, Coffee wanted to sole source to some HMO, health maintenance organization. Instead of us managing it, we would sign here and somebody else would manage it, and we would receive a lot less services. That middleman would eat up all our services. So that's what almost happened, if he had the support. I mean, later he could have done it, because he had the whole tribe bought off. So this is how serious this is. I mean, but now we have a good government, positive government, and we're making changes, and I know, we'll be able to do it in a couple of years. And that's how long it's gonna take, this is a long process.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
And
Knuckles.
then we had the forensic audit. Susan brought up the motion and for forensic audit, and it passed. And then Coffee resigned two months later. And then everything's, been making positive changes even before then and since then.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Narcomi. Appreciate your information. And this is a good read. He brought this to me yesterday, so if you get the time, look this over. Is there anything else for new and old business? If not, we'll go into executive session. Yes, ma'am?
Hi, my name's Jody Colbert. I just moved here from California. And I have been looking for retail space within the Comanche Nation to rent, because I would hate to rent from outside of Comanche Nation. I haven't found any retail space, so I was just proposing maybe, maybe I would like to see, or even tribal members within the next 5 years, to have maybe like a Comanche Nation business plaza for tribal members to open retail or business to build our economy. I was just wondering if there's any assistance.
Did
where-
Mr. Wumaboya leave? Oh, here he is. This is our realty director right here, Mr. Dennis Wumaboya. Visit with him. Just talk to him about any retail space or any space that we might have for rent.
Right.
He'll be able to help you.
Yeah, or lease, because I would like to own within the next 5 years as well.
Well, I don't know about that, but you can dart your visit with him about your ideas to.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
you're welcome. Yes.
I'd like to request from the CBC to be put on an executive session or the open session for next month's meeting. And I'd like to do that in this session here.
Next month's meeting?
Yes, please.
Executive or which one?
Whatever, open session, executive session, I want to readdress the moral, the resolution that was brought forth with the
Okay.
termination of my
Where's-
life.
Can you write that down, Ms. Jewel? Okay, they'll
The
get that
moral
on.
character resolution that was passed by the CBC.
You mean the Accountability Act?
No, the moral character.
minimum standards? Okay,
Of moral character.
all righty. They'll get you on there.
Yeah, I'd rather do it then than right now.
All right. All right, if that's it, then we'll move on to executive session. If I can get a motion to go into executive session?
Make the motion.
Mr. Odyssey made the motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Narcomi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will go into executive session at this time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time this morning. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.